Why did we talk about that?
We're talking about imposter syndrome.
So that has nothing to do with that. Next.
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to Experts About Nothing.
Yeah.
Guys, we officially made it past 5 episodes.
Which is kind of insane.
I can honestly say that this podcast is so much fun for me. I'm having a good time.
I mean, same, honestly.
You know?
It's so fun. Frankly, anything to flex our creative muscles. Hey guys, this is Priya and Diksha live from the editing room. We are listening and editing to the pod and realize the sound gets a little wonky after this segment. So apologies in advance. We hope this won't happen again. We are still figuring out all of our new audio equipment, and I think something went awry.
And if you guys are liking the show, please consider supporting us by sharing with your friends, following our gram at Experts About Nothing, and or leaving us a review. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Back to the show.
Woo-hoo. So, we thought we'd start off this week. This is Priya's idea. Idea.
Okay, let me tell you, this is Sally's idea. Shout out to my girl Sally. Like, she actually suggested this. I think on the girls trip pod we talked about Enneagram quizzes, and then Sally sent me a bunch of other types of, like, Enneagram plus other quizzes.
Yeah.
That you can do to talk about your personality type. And then Diksha and I, we just did the apology language quiz, everyone.
Just now, actually 5 minutes ago. So it's a bunch of this or that's. It's asking, would you prefer this type of apology or this type of apology? And it kind of words the person's apologies in different ways, and you have to pick one of the two.
So it's the apology language quiz. It's going to break your responses into 5 different apology languages. Essentially, this is trying to evaluate how
you prefer
someone apologizing to you. What is the most meaningful to you?
Yes. So there's 5 buckets. It's accept responsibility, expressing regret, plan change, request forgiveness, and make restitution.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just dive into it. Priya, tell me, accept responsibility, what percentage are you?
12, darling. The bottom. It's the bottom. Is that your top? What? Yes. Not us being best friends and having completely flipped apology languages.
Literally,
wait, really?
All I want is someone to accept responsibility for the damage they've ensued. That's all I care about.
My gosh. I don't even give a crap about that. I literally said it doesn't matter to me.
I'm shocked. That's the number one thing I need in an apology. If you're not going to accept your damage, then what's the point?
No, I mean, whatever. But for me, I'm like, the damage is done. It's done. My top was plan change.
Okay, that was third. That was tied with expressing regret for me. So mine was, okay, let's just break it down really clearly. Mine was 36% accept responsibility. What was your accept responsibility?
12.
FMO, okay. Then my expressing regret was 24%. What's yours?
19.
Okay. And then my plan change was 24%.
Mine's 27. That's my top.
Okay. And then, okay, so you want change. I get it.
I'm like, give me a plan.
Okay, got it.
I want action.
And then request forgiveness, 8%.
23.
We are polar opposites.
Wait, what?
We are not the same at all.
Request my forgiveness. Like,
mine's 8%. Don't request my forgiveness because it's not, like, it doesn't matter. You did exactly. You did.
No, but I feel like that you did what you needed to do, or like you did what you did. I mean, it's number 2. It's number 2. I request your forgiveness after I'm like telling you my tangible actions for change.
After the last one, then I'll explain to you my logic behind some of the things. So okay, so for make restitution, I said 8%.
19, darling, 19.
Holy shit. Oh my god, I'm shocked. Okay. Now let's break down, like, why.
Okay.
So, accept responsibility. I think that is trumps everything else because I hate when people don't admit to the mistake that they've made. I think that is like number one for me. If you're not owning up to whatever the mistake was, oh my God, I can't even take the apology seriously because you don't even know what you did wrong.
That's completely fair. I'm 12%, so it's not like I'm like
nothing.
You know what I mean? But for me, when the damage is done, it's done. When someone's like accepting responsibility for the damage, it almost annoys me a little bit.
What?
Because I'm like, who cares?
They admit to it. They admit to it, but acknowledge that they've done something wrong, you know?
But it's like, what is that to me? It's already done. It's done. I don't care if you're admitting to it. So if I'm aware, it doesn't mean that much.
But it's more of an acceptance that you did something wrong. It's not that you didn't do the action, you know? Like
no, I agree. Like, it gives me some satisfaction, but it's not enough to really, like, do it. Because I know...
Crazy to
because
me,
I am just of the belief that if you do something wrong, you know you did something wrong. I don't think
some people know.
Really? Some people don't. I just feel like... I feel like both of us have a lot of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And I'm just like... If I did something wrong,
then you
I would know.
Guilt, like,
I would just
eons.
know.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not going to admit to it, I already know that I did something wrong.
Was in the wrong. Yeah. What about expressing regret?
It was the third for me.
Okay, that was the second for me. So I think it's pretty equal. I think it's important to be like, I didn't mean to make you feel a certain way, and I think that is crucial.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the empathy comes in.
Yes.
You're not trying to be malicious. Mm-hmm. That even anyone doing something quote unquote wrong to us, it's like, I would hope that I don't have straight up malicious people in my life. That would be sad.
Want to make you sad.
Yeah. If you're actually going out of your way to like hurt me, then that's rough.
That's different.
So, yeah.
And then plan change. What was plan change on yours?
First.
Okay. Now let's talk about
that is the most important thing to me.
I am here for plan change. The thing about this quiz is that all the plan change was like, what can I do to fix the situation? It was asking the person to tell them what they can do to fix the problem. Yeah. And I think that's what bothered me in the phrasing, because why don't you come up with a proposed solution to how you're going to fix the situation instead of me telling you what you need to do? If someone doesn't know how to fix the situation, it's a deeper problem to me.
No, that's fair. I feel that, but also I'm like, that is the most meaningful to me because it means that you're doing something about it. Like, if you did something to me, the only way I will actually fully come around is if you're like, I am going to do X, Y, and Z, and not even say it, you will execute on X, Y, and Z.
Yes. I just don't like when they ask you, what do I need to do? That will irritate the fuck out of me. Like, don't say that. Just, you should come to me with a plan.
Come with a plan.
You have thought out.
I get it. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been in the situation where it's like, what do you need me to do? I feel like it usually is just like, this is what I'm going to do to, like, make it up to you. And I'm like, great, do it, you know? And it's just, like, a monitoring from that point. Yeah. But I get it. It's annoying when someone's like, not only did I hurt you, but also tell me what I need to do to fix it.
Okay, you didn't learn anything about what was wrong in the situation.
Yeah.
Like, you should know at this point what you need to fix. Mm-hmm. So that's why request forgiveness is at a solid 8% for me. Like...
That was a 23.
That's like crazy to me because
that's so wild.
Don't regress forgiveness, just change. Like, you know what I mean? Just like do better next time. I think that matters more to me than you being like, can you forgive me? That is insane to me. Like,
I don't know why that like hits for me. You come with so much humility. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Because for me, I don't think I've ever gone up to someone and I'm like, can you forgive me? It's such a grand gesture. I'm like, I'm in Bridgerton. Like, I'm like, can you forgive me?
Please bestow upon your forgiveness.
I know, and I'm like, bestow it. Literally bestow. You know what I mean? It hits. Like, I don't know, because maybe I've never received it. Or given it.
I haven't either, and I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Something about it seems very Victorian. Like, I'm like...
It is Victorian. It's exactly why I don't want it, you know? Okay,
It's
what
so
about
funny.
make restitution?
Listen, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
What does that mean? Let me go to the
Like,
description. In our society, many people believe that wrong acts demand justice. The one who commits the crime should pay for their wrongdoings. A mate who speaks this love language feels the same way towards apologies. They believe that in order to be sincere, the person who is apologizing should justify their actions. So I feel like it's very much like,
Oh, like, I did this because.
X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Yeah, like having some sort of defense toward your action.
Frankly, I don't care about your defense. Like, you shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Yeah, like why? Why does that matter to me?
That's why that was my last. Make restitution was under request forgiveness, even though they were both ranked 8%.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it was second to last for me.
Okay, so me and Priya are polar opposites in how we should apologize to one another. So now I know that I need to plan change.
And I need to accept some damn responsibility. Okay, today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome, which is something I think we both are very well acquainted with.
Yes, and I think in different situations, right? In the most obvious sense, a lot of females, especially if you're POC of any sorts, experience it in the workplace.
Yeah.
That's what we have a lot to say about, but it also can happen in life, right? So I think we've seen both of those situations pretty intimately at this point. So we just wanted to dive into that and kind of talk about some of our experiences and also how to make ourselves more confident in those situations.
Yes, and just in general, imposter syndrome is, I mean, one, I point blank period have way more girlfriends than guy friends. That's just the vibe. And I think it's a very female dominant thing that people experience. Literally, I would say 80 to 90% of my girlfriends experience some form of imposter syndrome, whether it is in your day-to-day work life or in social life. Not to say that guys don't experience it. I think they do it. It's an experience that you have when I think your foundation is already a little shaky.
Yeah.
And you question a lot of the things that happen to you in your day-to-day life. We do that quite often when really amazing things happen to us. We're just, oh, why did this happen to me?
Or I'm so lucky that this happened to me.
I'm blessed for this to happen to me versus
I
earned this and I worked hard for this. I've had that conversation with so many people who are my close friends. It is a pattern, unfortunately, that I think a lot of people experience, especially in their young adult life.
Yeah, and I think definitely in the early 20s, it is extremely prevalent in kind of every interaction for me personally. Like, as I started working, even as I transitioned through my first couple of jobs, I've always kind of felt like this. It was either an age thing, or it was a gender thing, or it was a field thing, whatever it was. I felt it to some extent through every kind of change I've experienced.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so Deeksha and I both work in technology. It is a male-dominant industry. It's also one that really values experience and execution.
We put in hours and hours into work, and we spend so much time trying to make sure our work is our personal level of quality that we want to give to others. I think we can't discount that, but it's so easy to just be like, this was my best work. I don't know if it's enough, but here it is. I don't know. Even the way we present it is kind of, like, it's a rough draft. Like, even if we spent hours
you're like, you put in days of work on it, and you're like, I don't know, like, this is just my naive approach to something, and it's, why am I prefacing something?
Approach.
Yeah, you put in tons of time to do XYZ thing, and you're just like discounting yourself. And it's a really hard thing to break out of. I feel like at this point we're both aware of it, but still I kind of operate in that realm sometimes because it's comfortable.
And especially when your environment doesn't change, it's kind of like, well, my mentality is not going to fully change. If you start working your job with just one other female, and then you continuously only have one other female working with you, how would you ever gain the confidence to be like, these are my ideas, these are this? Sure, like, you can do a few things, you know, to like build your confidence to speak up, but in general, when your environment is so consistent, it's really hard for you to change. That's something I've definitely experienced when you're constantly around the same type of people.
Yeah, you're around the same ratio. It does take a little extra push to be like, I'm going to speak up in this meeting, or, you know, like, there's always this just weird pressure when you're a minority in a situation to be like, if I screw this up, I'm going to represent this entire group of people.
Yeah.
I feel that quite a bit, because I'm just like, oh, if I say something stupid, I'm the only girl in this room.
Yeah.
So I am going to just like represent females. Everything I say is going to represent anyone else who's going to speak after me. They're just going to already have this preconceived notion that it's stupid. It's just a burden that you kind of have to carry.
Yeah.
It kind of prevents you from maybe being as open and free as you would like to be, because you're just like carrying a weight of an entire demographic.
Yeah, completely agree. And I feel like over the years, we've definitely gotten more comfortable with owning whatever we feel and just making ourselves more confident, whether it's in a professional setting or a personal life setting. But yeah, let's talk about some of the things that we do to kind of actually get over it.
Yeah, I would say for me, it sounds very quantitative, maybe too calculated, but at least in the beginning, I don't think I do this as much anymore, I would be like, you need to say something twice a meeting. You must.
It's a great strategy because,
especially
when you're not used to speaking up in certain settings, it's important to kind of push yourself slowly to do those things. Even if it takes a couple tries to actually say something, once you do, you never regret doing it. Even if it doesn't make 100% sense, if it's not a coherent, fully thought out thought, I still am happy I said something because I feel like someone is resonating with it. Whether silently or vocally, you know?
Exactly. Even if I say anything, people know I'm in the room.
Yeah.
And it is better than, I've felt like it's better than me holding the weight of what I was going to say or someone saying what I was going to say. Like, I hate that feeling.
Saying what you're going to say and then you're like, damn, I could have said it because I had the same thought. I think it burns a little bit more when you are kind of a minority in the room and you're like, you know.
I should have just said it.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that all the time. So at least in the beginning, talk twice a meeting, ask a question, say a statement, reiterate what someone was saying before you if you don't have like a unique thought to say. Like, it's really just an exercise of confidence at that point, and it builds you up. It really does just make your voice feel stronger. Now that, you know, I've been in the game for a minute, I know that I have a unique perspective, and it makes it easier for me to be like, okay, I'm going to say what I need to say because I have done a specific set of things that help me cater to a perspective that you might not have, you know?
And I love that you said ask a question. We sometimes feel like we can't ask questions or ask too many questions, especially when it's maybe a larger team meeting or something like that. I'm sure at least 4 to 5 other people have the same question. I know I'm thinking, oh my God, thank God they asked that when someone else asked a question. I've been in situations where my manager has been like, wait, let's pause. What does this even mean? And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, thank God he asked that because now I know what it means before we proceed with the whole conversation. And I think it's so much good context to have.
Exactly. It is so important. And hearing from someone, hey, that was a great question, or that was like a great comment. Those things just make you know that you are supposed to be in this room. You have a place at a specific point that you earned. It's something that you need to keep telling yourself, and you're only going to feel that external validation when you speak up, because if you're just a fly on the wall, I've been a fly on the wall for a long period of time, and a lot of times you just go by and you feel kind of unappreciated, and when you feel unappreciated, you also like put yourself down. Or I've done that to myself many times. And I think that just kind of perpetuates the issue that you're already dealing with. So in the workplace, at a certain point, you're like, what do I have to lose? I'm already hired here. I'm getting paid. Yeah, you're getting paid for your presence. So might as well make it known and gain the most you can out of it.
Yeah, so I work in a more technical area. I work in data science, and I've never had a formal background. So something that I've noticed in the general field is that it's impossible to know absolutely everything. You sometimes forget that, especially when you're dealing with management or senior people on your team that do have a deeper background or do have an educational foundation in whatever you're working in. It's to make an active effort in what you need to learn for your specific task or job, especially when the field is so broad. I feel like this applies to software engineering. It applies to so many other roles where there's a lot of context that some things kind of require, but it's impossible to know absolutely everything in the field. And if you just focus on what you need to get done, that alone can give you so much more confidence, whether that's watching YouTube videos and what that is, getting your own personal background and seeking out those resources yourself. I think has helped me tenfold just feel better when I'm in the room talking about the subject, presenting the subject, talking about the solutions I found. It always makes me feel better. And also just asking questions to the people that I feel comfortable asking them to. If there's anyone on the team, whether it's an adjacent person to you, someone that may have, known or studied this topic before you, for me, I feel much more comfortable asking them questions and being in an unfiltered space with them, and just getting the context I need to then move forward. And that's something I do all the time, and I love that, and I feel so much more confident approaching others after I have that initial conversation. The main thing is just cut the time that you need to get to the point where you ask someone, because after you do, immediately you kind of are more motivated to push through. Yeah, those are a couple things I do, and I never regret when I do those things, and I always feel better about the position I'm in or the project state that I'm working on when I do that. So
I think all of those are very valid. I have used so many of those strategies in my day-to-day. I learn the best while I'm doing. As a student versus adult working employee, I am way better of an employee than a student because things click for me when I'm actually executing on something. Now I know that about myself. So I will take the time to just do something over and over and over again until I feel very comfortable in said thing. It's happened to me so many times at this point where I have felt completely not confident in an entire area of work or just like a role or whatever it is. And then through literal practice and pattern, I'm like, oh, I now somehow became a subject matter expert on something that I thought I would have no experience in, So just finding what works for you in terms of the way you learn best and the way you learn fastest is so key in getting out of that period of imposter syndrome and into that feeling of confidence.
And getting things done.
Yeah. For me, I feel that confidence when I execute. Yes. And I actually am like, oh, these are the number of tickets I've closed out. These are the number of things that I've merged into master.
The people I've helped. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Like the number of questions I've answered, the number of things I've spoken up about in meetings. It's almost like a statistical quantitative metric that I'm like, okay, I've done X, Y, and Z things and I feel really good about where I'm at right now. And great, now I can really be a resource that whoever hired me already knew I would be, It's sad that sometimes the person who's hiring you sees more in you than you see in yourself.
And even our friends and family see so much more in you than you see in yourself sometimes. And I think those moments when everyone else around you is able to see how much you impact your work, but you don't, I think is such a clarifying moment that it's like, whoa, I did all of these things that they said I did,
Sometimes you need to break through whatever wall you have up for yourself to see that lens that other people already see you in.
Accepting what is reality.
It is reality a lot of the time.
Perspective of what you've accomplished.
Yeah, it's not about not being modest or not being humble. It's literally just I'm seeing myself the way that other people see me. Be confident in the moment that you're in, because that's the only way that you're going to proceed and continue to grow. So
absolutely. Yeah. Something that I think is really common in the tech space is that you just kind of feel like you have to get tangible things done. But in a lot of fields, and I see this in data science all the time, is contribution is also effort. Sometimes eliminating approaches are also the same thing as figuring out the right approach. There's so much emphasis sometimes on the completion of things. And I finished 75 tickets. I did that. And that's great and that's amazing, but it's really easy to get down on yourself for not doing as much also. And the periods of time when you don't do as much, I think it's important to remind yourself that your effort in determining like what you can and cannot do is so important. And that in itself is work. Because who knows, like later maybe someone else was going to explore all the approaches that you did that didn't work. Sometimes you can get so down on yourself for being like, oh my God, I spent 3 days and I didn't get anything tangible done. But sometimes that's not the end goal. And any work that you put towards something, whether that's learning, whether that's eliminating other approaches that are not going to work, whatever that is, it all counts. And I think that's what I've learned over the past 2 years in this job.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving yourself the grace of being a human being and knowing that you will contribute in whatever way that is. So there's no room to be an imposter. Another area that I think both of us have discussed having some form, like I feel like it's not imposter syndrome, but it's like an imposter syndrome's cousin.
Yes.
Is friendships. Because as you grow and you are continuously iterating on the version of yourself that you are, you meet new people, you try to become friends, and I've felt a lot of imposter syndrome vibe, self-doubt with creating new friendships as an adult. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, like why would they want to be friends with me? Or, you know, am I like worthy to like even be in this group or be this person that is facilitating these friendships? It can get overwhelming.
It does. I think so many of us have experienced this when like we go into the workforce and it's almost like we've had a very similar demographic of friends in the past that then when you get put into like a corporate situation or whatever, you're like, I can't even believe that you'd want to be friends with me outside of this specific situation that we're in. I used to feel like that a lot with a lot of my work friends, but then I realized I'm like, we're just kids making our way. So making friends along the way can only help, and it only makes the situation experience so much better.
Honestly, making friends as an adult is so whack. I don't know. I feel so uncomfortable so often, whether I'm like at my volunteering shift, at work, even making friends of friends. I'm always just like, like.
I think the part that makes me the most uncomfortable is I don't know if others want to progress this relationship outside.
You feel like everyone weirdly has their shit on lock.
Like they have their life.
You have your friends, and I have my friends. So what's even the point of even expanding this moment?
Yes.
And it's such an incorrect approach because I think everyone at some point is like open to a new connection. I have felt this so many times where I'm like, I could be at a period of my life where I'm like, I have every friend that I could possibly think of already in my rotation. I'm good. Like, I don't need anyone else in my life. And then you meet someone and you're like, oh my God, how did I have a life without
and then you make room for them.
If you constantly stay of the frame of mind where you're like, they don't want to be friends with me and I already have my circle and they have their circle and we don't need to do... You're just like missing out on...
Yeah, what else? Like... That's
good
the
things.
Excitement of life. If you're having the same type of connections, what is the point? I am actually so excited about going through my different phases of life and meeting more and more people because I can already pinpoint, like I think you can too, but we have so many high school friends that we're like, oh my God, we're so close to them still and they lasted the test of time. And then college, of course, we're connected to so many of our friends from that period. But then post-grad, we met so many new people after that. Can't imagine going through life without you now. It's honestly just in every phase of life, you're about to meet people. It's just about being open to having that connection with others.
Yeah, I think getting the imposter syndrome or whatever, like social anxiety out of the way has only ever benefited me.
Me too.
Once I moved past that moment, and it's in the dumbest shit. I currently have been trying to hit the gym a little more often than I usually do. I feel so anxious and uncomfortable when I'm there. I'm literally like, oh my God, I'm a clown. I don't know what these machines are. I don't know where I'm going. Once I just like take 30 seconds to be like, who cares?
No
like,
one cares. At the gym,
literally, no one cares. And it's at the gym or wherever the hell you are. No one cares. If you put in 2 more ounces of effort that you are withholding due to some random social anxiety, I can guarantee 99.9% of the time it'll pay off. Who cares if I look like an idiot at the gym?
Question.
Oh my God.
What is one place you want to make a friend from that you haven't yet already?
I wish I was a little more friendly at
what?
Or not even friendly, but like open to friendships.
Yeah.
At like coffee shops or restaurants or something.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very socially aware in those situations, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be the one who's gonna be like, oh, I love what you ordered, or what did you get over that? Like, I'm not. I'm
your outfit.
Yeah. No, I even if I think all these things, I'm very hesitant to like
say it,
execute on what I'm thinking, and I wish I was, because I feel like it would open so many doors. Like, I think those things all the time. I'm like, what did you order? I would love to order that. Or like, what are you wearing? That's lit.
Would love to buy that.
Yeah.
Someplace that I've always wanted to meet someone. I've always wanted to take a class of some sort and then magically build an organic connection with a girl.
Friendship. Yeah.
Like whether it's a fitness class, like body pump, or
not body pump,
or if it's like a pottery class or something like that, and just like see people like 3 times continuously and be like, I kind of like your vibe.
Yeah, let's vibe.
And then just make a friend. Like, I would love to make a hobby friend.
A hobby friend sounds so lit. Honestly, a lot of the time, it's the energy you give off that you receive. Yeah, so,
completely agree.
Just let out those vibes, girlies.
And make some friends and feel good doing whatever you're doing.
I know. I mean, this was just a rant about how we feel.
We're feeling some
honestly
syndrome, but also
we're just like we're pep talking ourselves out of it. So hopefully you pep talk yourself out of any of those thoughts as well.
Solemn. So now let's go into some of our favorites. Do you have a favorite?
My god! Wait,
I know what I'm going to talk about.
I can't talk about it. Okay, go. You go.
So last week was all about doom and gloom vibes. And it was doom and gloom. Mm-hmm. But this week, we actually got the news that we are fully kicked out of our apartment.
We're yeeted, darlings. We're out. We're out of this situation.
We're out of this apartment. So we have approximately, ideally, like 5 to 6 weeks to figure out our apartment situation.
Our life.
So the funniest thing to me... Every time, we're on Street Easy, which is a common platform that people use in New York City to find new apartments. We're on Street Easy, and you have to message brokers if you're interested in said property. And Priya always phrases, like, these apartment queries in the weirdest fucking way.
That's false.
No. Every broker thinks Priya is a broker.
That's so dumb. It's dumb.
Because she phrases her queries like this. She goes, we have 4 girls that
No. This is what I say. I say, hello, I have a group of 4. I have a group of 4.
This bitch says, I have a group of 4.
Yes, and I do. I am carrying...
me and my three roommates are looking for an apartment.
I am carrying a group of 4 on my back.
She says, and she counts it as independent from herself. I have a group of 4.
No,
and it's
including
so
myself. It's so stupid. I don't know why people are making these crazy assumptions.
She keeps saying this in this weird ass way that no one talks. No one talks like this, okay? And then she's like,
that's so crazy.
Then Priya comes back so pissed when people are like, are you a broker?
Very irritated.
This has happened numerous times.
No, I'm like, why would you think I'm a broker? Like, what about me? My email is not a broker email. I'm not at realestatemanagement.org. Like, I am at gmail.com. You know what I mean? Like, it's so clear. I do have a group of 4, me included. And it is so irritating to me because these brokers are so rude. They're literally like, are you a broker? You might as well come out and say it. I'm like, what? Why are you talking to me in this tone?
Really incognito.
No, I'm being very cognito. Like, I am being so cognito, saying it like it is.
Frankly, this is week 1 of us looking for apartments. Something that is carrying me through this because I am in the deepest of depression looking for apartments.
I know, it's so sad. Let me tell you, my favorite is a white nectarine.
What?
It is the fruit, the white nectarine, because let me tell you guys, I bought a white nectarine. It was like 2.5 to 3 weeks ago. And I put it in the fridge, and I was like, I'm going to eat this nectarine, because, like, whoa. It was in the grocery store. It was calling my name. And then I was traveling. I didn't really eat it. Came back today. Got this nectarine. Let me tell you. Squished around a little bit on the nectarine. firm as fuck.
Oh,
Literally plump nectarine. I was like, I bought this 3 weeks ago, and girly is still giving what she needs to give. And then I went to our window. I was chomping on this nectarine. I kid you not, best 10 minutes of my week. And it was just so good. So everyone, if you have a nectarine in your grocery store, get after it.
And that's that. It's been so fun. That's all we have for you guys this week. So we'll talk to you next week. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.